YouTube and will be joining us on YouTube. Hello, hi, how are you? I'm here in the studio by my lonesome. There's nobody here. It's just me, myself, and I. And Brandon is still in Chi-Town, fresh off of his first tour date for the I Am Iconic tour with Cam Newton. Brandon, welcome. How was it? Talk to us.
Ashley, you look amazing. You're
Thank
back in
you.
black. You're back in black. You
So are
look great.
you.
Yes, I know. We're always going to be in black. It was awesome. Chicago always gives me so much joy, gives me so much love. So to start here meant a lot. It was a packed house, great experience. I still have my voice.
Yeah,
I've
it
been
sounds a
struggling
little
for the
hoarse.
last 2 3 days, but it was awesome, 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 awesome.
Can you tell us a little bit? I know that you and Cam have something in the works with what you want to do with this tour moving forward, and you don't want to give too much away. But can you tell us what the vibes were? How was it? What went on a little bit? Just a little info.
Well, first it starts off super sexy, right? Like how we dress, everybody, I'm talking about the audience, everybody that comes. So everybody came fly. It was a super sexy venue,
Is there a dress
city
code?
winery. No dress code,
Okay.
but I think people understood the assignment and they nailed it. City Winery is a dope venue. It's wine, candles, lights are low. It was just a mood.
Mm.
And then we got into the shows. We went a little long, 2 hours and 15 minutes. We were supposed to do 90 minutes.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, we just had these cool segments from Passing the Aux where we battled, and I of course, won. Um, and Pass the Aux is basically we go to different genres, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
we'll start off in hip hop. I'll play a song, then Cam play a song. All right, who won that one? Who had the better song choice? We'll go to R&B. We went to trap. We went to drill. We went to gospel. And so Cam played some amazing songs, but he missed the assignment. You're in Chicago, Cam. Play Kanye West. Play,
Mm.
King Vaughn, Lil Durk. Like he missed the assignment. And so it was easy for me to take that victory. And then we also did some cool things, the check-ins, and that was pretty dope because we went deep. And then we said, hey, everybody out there, check your flyer. And under your flyer, if you have this blue sticky, then come up, join us on stage. And so they were
Oh.
able to participate um, in last night's amazing show when it came to hot topics. It came to just asking us questions and then also their check-in. So it was
So
awesome.
sports talk, relationship talk, everything in between. Was it all hit last
Everything,
night?
everything. It was awesome.
So
Thank you.
can fans expect another date sometime soon? How was the reception that you felt like you can go ahead and move forward with this?
Yeah, so I said this, when did I say this? Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Athlete, there's daily, there's weekly, there's on the go, and then there's another bucket, and that's events. And this is the thing that I'm most excited about. Last year, we had opportunity to do a couple cities, and we sold out all of them. And Cam participated in the Atlanta one. And Cam is a guy. If I'm just going to say it, he's not a he's an individual. He knows who he is, right? And he likes to run solo. And so um, for about a year, I've been trying to convince him to do this tour, and then for a couple of years, I've been trying to convince him to collab because of he and I's chemistry and real relationship. And so, we already had this amazing opportunity. So when you think about this bucket, it's going to be more cities. So yes, we'll roll out the next one here in the next maybe week or two,
Mm.
and we'll do a couple, and then we'll make a bigger announcement come Q1 of 24. So maybe January, February, it'll be a bigger announcement. So I'm super excited about this. Cam is special. He's a star, and it's pretty cool. Like sometimes I can just sit back and just tee him up and let him run for 20, 30 minutes.
Can we get a hint on where the next city will be? West Coast, East Coast, down south?
Yeah, it would definitely be, I would say, it's going to be in the South, but it gets
Ooh.
cold there. It still gets cold.
South still gets cold. Okay, I think I have my guesses. I think I know.
Okay.
I
What?
think I know.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Guess.
Atlanta.
Okay, that's a good guess, but keep going.
Houston.
That's a really good one too. It gets really cold in Houston and it's in the South. It's
That's
good.
all I got. Those are the only two.
That's
Oh,
all
wait,
you got.
no.
That's really good.
Charlotte.
Charlotte, yep, that's a good one.
Those are the only three guesses I got.
Did you know Virginia was still considered the South?
Yeah, the DMV. Like, the DMV is weird because, like, the DMV is kind of the North, but it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. The DMV is weird. It depends.
Right.
Is it Virginia?
No, it's not Virginia. It's not Virginia, but,
I was like, okay. Virginia wasn't on my list. Yeah, those are my only three cities. I got Charlotte. Oh, it could be New Orleans. Someone in the chat said New Orleans. It does get cold in New Orleans.
Yeah, it does.
This is true. Tennessee. I doubt it's Tennessee. I don't see you going to Tennessee.
You can't see us in Nashville?
I don't see you going to Tennessee for the second stop. Maybe like down the road, but like the next stop, I feel it has to have some sort of connection. So one of you, both of you. So I'm not going Tennessee. I'm gonna stick with Houston, Atlanta, Charlotte. Those are one of the three. It's gonna be one of those three.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ashley, what do you have going on? Listen, today's going. Let's make today a very chill, relaxed show.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Sure. There's stuff that we gotta dive into, but we can do that.
Okay. Really quick before we dive into that stuff. What do you have going on? Anything cool coming up for you?
I'm chilling. I'm good. It's the holiday season.
Cuffing
all
season.
Of our time. No cuffing season. All of my Tommy engagements have been fulfilled for the year, so those will pick up next year. Just kind of enjoying, things get slow come around December. It's when big game for me tonight, Thursday Night Football. Excited about that. We'll dive into, what that means. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little excited. It feels like a trap game, feels like a setup. But yeah, I'm good. I gotta do some Christmas shopping. That I'm behind on. Have you started yours?
Heck no. I'm always the guy that starts the day before Christmas. And I always end up in a terrible situation. One time, I was scrambling. So I was playing with the Jets. And obviously, where do we practice, Ashley, and where do we play?
New Jersey.
So I drive back into the city, and I go to Fifth Ave, right?
The day before Christmas?
The day before Christmas. And so, I'm trying to figure it out, and I want to make it very special, but it's last minute. And so I go to Hermes, boom, nothing really there. Everything kind of sold out. And then I go into this other place, I go into another place, and then all I see is Cartier.
Uh-huh.
Right? So I'm like, let me go in there and see if something's nice there. I saw on her phone, one day she was looking at this little bracelet. I was like, let me go check out that bracelet. I said, okay, I'm going to get it. And then they rung it up, and they said $60,000. I said, I got it. And I was like, damn, I got to stop doing this last minute thing because last minute gets expensive.
Damn, so 60 bands.
60,000 because it was like the one with all diamonds. But we just had the babies and all of that.
So it was like a push present.
No, but it was Christmas, but it was all that going on.
Like a border.
We just moved to New York and all of that. So I was like, she's worth it. Go ahead. Boom. $60,000. Dang, last minute. So I won't do that this year, but I do need to get my babies.
It does appreciate in value, though, so it's not like you spent it. I mean, it's not going to appreciate in your value, but it's a good investment piece. You know what I mean?
100%. Hey, listen.
You won't reap the benefits, but
it's all in the family. You're right.
This is true.
I like that. Even the bags, people don't understand.
They do.
Women go out there and you purchase the right bag, like a Birkin. A
Birkin will appreciate in value.
$12,000, and on a secondary market could be $18,000, $20,000.
And if you let the longer it sits, the more it increases in value. So good invest. So if you guys have a free 60 bands lying around, Brandon can definitely gear you in the right direction if you're looking for a last minute Christmas gift for someone in your life. Listen, we're going to dive into some Thursday headlines right now. Listen, as I mentioned, Dallas Cowboys face off against the Seattle Seahawks tonight, and it's one bird they got to take down before they take down the other bird the following week, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. So everybody wants to know, will the Cowboys play with their food tonight, or will they handle business? I'm hoping for the latter, but we'll dive into it. Brandon, what you got for us?
Yeah, so big games this Sunday, starting tonight actually. Big game. You can call it a trap game. Cream season. Julian Edelman. It's cream season. Post-Thanksgiving Football has started, Ashley.
Mm-mm.
There's a big one here, and it says we have Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts.
Was this
Brock,
prior to your pause era? Because I have a hard time believing that Julian Edelman would say cream season and you wouldn't say pause.
well, I don't even know how I'm participating in pause. It's like new to me, and it's cool, but it's like it's kind of corny at the same
It is
time.
corny, but I'm just surprised you didn't say it when he said that
No,
because that's a
yeah,
little.
yeah, I didn't. No, but I don't even know what cream season is. We're gonna have to ask him what cream season
I'm
is.
telling you what I think. I told you yesterday. I think it's cash rules everything. At least I hope it is. God, I hope it is, because otherwise,
Yeah, he said it
I
on
don't
Fox.
know.
I think he said it on Fox this past week. He said it when we were on Inside the NFL and Showtime the last couple of years. He always says it during this time. It's cream season. It's cream season. Who do you have tonight? Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks. It's cream
I
season.
don't.
Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts. Let's go. Let's dive into it.
I just can't. I
Talk
don't really. I
about it.
don't. I don't. I don't like it. Cream
You don't
season.
like it?
It doesn't. It
You
doesn't
don't-
flow for me. It just doesn't. It's like the word moist. It grosses me out.
Now I know. Oh,
You know what I mean?
I remember what he did, Ashley. So he did this whole little thing, but it's like cream season. Like, what the hell is cream season, right? That's when he first came on Inside the NFL. And he's like, the cream rises to the crop. That's base. That's it.
Oh, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Creme de la creme.
there you go.
Got
There
it.
you go. It just
Thank
hit
you,
me. I
Julian.
remember.
Thank you for that clarification. Now I can sleep at night. Listen, as I mentioned, tonight, Thursday Night Football, it's all going down with my Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks as they kick off Week 13 of the NFL season. And it's going down in the Big D. That's Dallas, that is. And Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level. And many are taking notice, including Aaron Rodgers himself. Listen to this.
And I just want to say, like, he's playing a position in a really impressive way. And for whatever reason, maybe because he's the Cowboys quarterback and it's one of those premier positions in sports, like I feel like the Green Bay quarterback has been for a long time and some other, positions in various sports, he might take a little more shit than he deserves or maybe it's deserving of the position, I guess. But I love the way he's playing, and I love the way he's playing, like really playing. I'm not talking about just like, making good throws. I'm talking about like it seems more rare that guys are actually really playing a position where you're making adjustments, you're handling everything line of scrimmage. Now you're doing this crazy cadence stuff. Like I love it, and I just want to shout out Dak for like really impressing me.
Listen, every time I think I'm out on Aaron Rodgers, he pulls me back in. I love that. Hearing Aaron Rodgers give praise to Dak Prescott. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest throwers of the football. Some may say, like you say, one of the greatest thrower of the football that we've ever seen. Giving him that type of praise goes a long way because, as he said, the Dallas Cowboys in general are under a different type of microscope. It's a different level of scrutiny when you have the star on your helmet. It always has been. But I think that we've spoken about this on the show repeatedly. For some reason, Dak Prescott is just held to a much different standard, even outside of the Dallas Cowboys thing, I feel like. He doesn't really get the same type of praise universally as some of his peers do, even when he plays absolutely phenomenal. So hearing Aaron Rodgers give it is fantastic. I love his cadence. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you make of what A-Rod said about Dak?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes from your peers, it's one thing, but when it comes from like one of your peers that are at the top of the top, it means so much. I know Dak is sitting back like, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Because Dak is one of those guys, obviously, that catches a lot of flack and there's a lot on his
Right.
shoulders. So for Aaron Rodgers to say that not only means a lot to Dak, but it also makes a statement to everybody that's covering sports or covering the Cowboys, everybody who has an opinion. Because a lot of times, and we always talk about this, we don't know what these players are responsible for. Last night on the show, I had Cam stand there, and I was like, Cam, take us through your whole process in 25, 30 seconds, right? Like, meaning you got 30 seconds. You have someone in your ear giving you a play. trips right. Z-Zing, we're going to go scat protection. Make sure you identify the mic. When you go rope. And then we're going to go Z bingo X comeback. On three. So somebody is in your ear. Now he has to translate that to the other 10 guys. Then he has to get to the line. And then he has to identify the mic. Then he has to check, slide protection. Oh, come in motion. Oh, hold. Here we go. Hut.
Here we go.
So I say all that because Dak Prescott is one of the last ones that's still operating at that level. Because another thing that he said, Ashley, was, he's like, he talked about Tom Brady's statement. He said he certainly wasn't talking about Dak. And this is what Tom was saying, like the excellence is like Dak is in control. Some of these quarterbacks are being told what to do. You got two options and that's it, right? And so it's a beautiful thing. And I'm happy for Dak Prescott because there's not too many real ones like that showing how awesome he is and how great of a job he's been doing. Not only this year, like his entire career.
Right.
Ashley, the man had one bad year.
Right.
Or not even a bad year. He had a bad half of a year. And they said he sucked. Unbelievable.
I also, before I ask you this, I want to give a congratulations to Dak and his girlfriend. He's expecting a baby in March. He's going to be a girl dad. So congratulations. I know he's very excited about that. He spoke about that a little bit to the media. He lost his mom to cancer and said that he really always wanted a girl. And I'm so happy that he finally is getting that. So wishing you well, Dak. I know you're going to be an amazing, amazing dad. Before we get into this.
Hold on, Ashley. Super Bowl's in February.
Yeah. Baby's due in March.
So they win the Super Bowl.
Could be.
Then they have a parade.
And then he has a baby.
Goes to the world tour. Then he has a baby. The start of 2024 for Dak Prescott might be amazing.
And he's a girl dad. And everyone knows when you're a girl dad, he gives you a different type of level of powers.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying that for. Can you imagine this dude, how motivated he is now?
I bet.
It's amazing when you come home every day and you see that little bundle of joy growing, your lady's belly. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go back out there. I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can stop me.
Right.
Like, I'm telling you, this is some extra energy.
You would know better than I would. So
yeah.
haven't crossed that threshold. Before I move on to the schedule, I want to ask you, because there's been a lot of conversation about the MVP race and who's in it, who shouldn't be in it. And, social media was up in roar yesterday. Speak, which we know is on Fox Sports FS1, pushed back against the idea of Dak Prescott being a MVP winner. Should he be in contention? Yes, but they pushed back against him actually winning the award. Darren Orlowski, however, today said if Dak continues this play, he absolutely can win this award. Where do you stand on Dak's MVP contention, and how much is it a realistic expectation for him to actually win it?
Listen, let's just ask this question. Who's the clear-cut winner right now? A lot of times a lot of times during this time, Ashley, it's kind of defined already, right? Got 6 games left. So can you tell me right now today, Ashley, no, exactly, right? So he absolutely has an opportunity to win this thing. There's a few hot hands right now. Obviously, you got the Philadelphia Eagles that are super hot. Kansas City Chiefs are just steady Eddie. Don't
forget Tyreek.
Yeah, but it's kind of cooled off a little bit.
It's a tad.
Then CJ Stroud is special, but can they keep winning? Dak Prescott, then you got the Broncos, their 5-game win streak, but Russell Wilson's numbers, I wouldn't throw him in that conversation. Dak Prescott can go into the playoffs as the hottest quarterback and doing some amazing things through the air. Like, he's top 6 in a lot of these categories. Almost 3,000 yards. How many TDs? 23 TDs, 6 interceptions. Oh, yeah, he's definitely in it, Ashley. Can you see him winning it?
It depends on how the remainder of this season goes. I feel like, much to your point, there's not a clear-cut winner. And I think because of that, it can go in so many different directions these last few weeks. Dak is certainly in the conversation. I certainly think that if he continues to win, he has the criteria to win it. But right now, I feel like there's 5 guys who can win this award. So it's really going to come down to performances week in and week out. And I feel like this is the first time in a long time where there's not a clear-cut MVP winner week 13. Usually around this time, you kind of already know who's going to win it. And we don't. I feel like I can go in so many different directions. And I love that. I don't like the predictability of the MVP award sometimes because a lot of times you know who it's going to go to. I enjoy the fact that we have no idea which direction this is going in.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be an amazing start to 2024 for Dak Prescott. NFL honors. He hoists the MVP trophy. Then he runs out. He probably won't even be there. Go back to the hotel, or maybe he's in a hotel. Says thank you. Then 2 days later, Super Bowl Sunday, he's hoisting Lombardi. So, Ashley, this could be your moment.
Let's hope he's not at the NFL honors because he's preparing for the Super Bowl.
No,
Fingers
but
crossed.
I'm saying, like, he could go, but most guys don't go.
Yeah.
But there have been guys that's gone to honors that also was a part of the Super Bowl, so he won't go. Dak is so low key.
Well, let's look ahead at their schedule. Right now, tough game against the Seahawks. I know that people will say, the Seahawks could be a trap game. Seahawks play great football when they have to. It's not going to go ahead and be, a cakewalk. That's not a team that you can just steamroll. Then you have the showdown against the Eagles, the rematch, this time in Dallas. Yep. Obviously, you want to be going into that rematch with a win under your belt. Then you have road games in Buffalo. Even though Buffalo's up and down, that's still not a team you could always just brush off. And then Miami, also in Miami. So 2 road games after that. And then a home matchup against the Detroit Lions. So I want to ask you, do you trust Dak to be in the MVP race after this tough schedule? And do you think the Cowboys will be in a prime position after this tough schedule?
Absolutely. I mean, this is it. This is, what does Julian Edelman say? It's cream season. So I was looking at this, and I'm like, and Ashley, you just went through the teams. Isn't this what you want? Like, you want this. You want to be going into postseason, knowing that Seattle Seahawks tonight, they can get that done. The Eagles, I told you this 4 weeks ago, when they went to Philly. I said, Ashley, Eagles got the edge here, but when the Eagles come, I already made my pick. I said, when they go to Dallas, I got the Dallas Cowboys. Do you remember me saying that?
You did.
Okay, so I love the Eagles, but they lose that one. Buffalo Bills, they're in Buffalo. So Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. What are you going to do, Dak Prescott? They could win all these games. They could win out and be the hottest team. So they absolutely can get this done. They're that good. Dak Prescott's that good. I see the text, Brian. Brian, our producer, says, well, what if he goes 2-3? What happens if Dak Prescott goes 2-3 down the stretch? I don't see that happening. I don't. If he does, all hell's going to break loose. That's what's going to happen. That's an easy answer. If Dak Prescott goes 2-3 down the stretch, all hell's going to break loose. Jerry Jones has to do something. Something has to happen. Coach McCarthy got to go. Dak Prescott got to go. Something has to happen. But I don't see that happening. I don't care about the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't care about Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. I don't care about Tua. And I don't care. That's going to be a vacation for them. They're going to Miami in December, day before Christmas. Oh, my goodness. You couldn't ask for a better setup.
Well, listen, the Cowboys have something else to celebrate before we move on. Quarterback Dak Prescott has been named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month. And Cowboys cornerback, De'Aaron Bland has been named NFC Defensive Player of the Month. So double whammy for the Dallas Cowboys. Congrats, boys.
Oh, my goodness. Congratulations there. Ashley, Brandon Flowers,
Mm-hmm.
he said this a couple of weeks ago. Losing is contagious. Winning is contagious.
Sure
There's
is.
a few players that I'm so excited for right now. Russell Wilson, and yes, guys, like I know my relationship with Russ, but when you get beat down for a year straight, that is brutal publicly. A lot of us can't even understand it, right? Because we never been in that situation. But to be publicly ridiculed for a year straight, and you open up Twitter, they're talking about you. You go on Instagram, you post something nice on Instagram. I just gave away, Russell Wilson this year just gave away $1 million. Half the comments, you're trash, you're cooked, you're washed. You go outside, people looking at you crazy. You might be pumping your gas, a fan drive by, say something wild.
This is true.
And then all of a sudden you start winning. What they say, how you kill them with success, with winning, or what they say?
Kill him with
What's that saying?
kindness.
No, not kill them with kindness,
Kill
but
him
like,
with kill him with success.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so for
Success is the
Russell
best
Wilson,
revenge or something like that.
yeah, there you go. So for Russell Wilson, 5 games in a row, you know how he's feeling? And then Dak Prescott. We crushed Dak Prescott for damn near a year. Talking about he needs to be traded, cut, don't sign or whatever they said. They didn't say cut. But for now this man to go a month straight on a straight heater, offensive player of the month, like you losing is contagious, winning is contagious. So what I'm saying is now this dude is just in a space where he's only going to be better. His confidence is through the roof. Who knows what December's going to look like for him?
This is true.
Everybody should be on alert with the Cowboys, for real. I think that, I'll be quick here, Ashley. I think the Eagles is the team to beat, but I won't be surprised if the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl. And we both, of course you did, but I feel like you got to.
I always do.
Every year you pick the Cowboys probably. Is that
It's
true?
called manifestation. It's the
But
secret.
has there ever been a year in the
No.
last 10 years that you haven't publicly picked the Cowboys?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, see, that's what I'm
See,
saying.
I don't have, but you know what's weird? I don't have that same kind of loyalty for the Knicks. I think my rationale for the Knicks is a little bit more there. The
Right.
Cowboys, I feel like I'm always, because I feel like the Cowboys are closer than the Knicks. So maybe that's why I'm always like the Cowboys are going. The Knicks, I've never picked them to go to the finals in the past 20
But
years.
how do you pick the Cow? I appreciate it, but how can you pick? I was saying all to say that this year it's a real thing. We both picked the Cowboys.
I always
right?
pick them though.
And I was nervous. But how do you pick the Cowboys, in the past when you have the Legion of Boom in Seattle, right?
Doesn't matter.
Or
Manifestation, the power of the mind. You know what I mean?
Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, the Packers,
Doesn't matter. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, thank you for that segue. We're gonna go ahead and talk some A-Rod and the news that has been circulating and just dominating the news circuit for the past 24 hours, and that's the return of Aaron Rodgers to Jets practice. Less than 3 months, 79 days to be exact, after tearing his Achilles in week 1 of the season. There are multiple ways and angles that the Jets quarterback can return. Now, they're all hypothetical, but let's play a little game of hypotheticals, shall we? So if the Jets win their next 2 games against the Falcons and the Texans, they are then sitting at 6-7 after 13 games. Do you then think that we could see Aaron Rodgers week 15 down here in the 305?
Ooh, yes.
Oh gosh.
Like, Ashley, you teed this up yesterday on our show. You said this 21-day practice window. I don't even know what the hell that it means. But I played in the league 13 years. I'm like, what is that 21-day practice?
Like you can, I think it means that you can, isn't it like you can enter practice within 21 days?
I don't know. But after we jump off our show, everybody's showing these clips of Aaron Rodgers on the practice field. I was thinking that, within 21 days, he's going to go out there and practice. But then all day yesterday, look at this. Ashley, why would you go out there and practice? He was jogging. He was running. Look at this. Why would you go out there and do that and not go out there and play? So, yes, the dude, take the record out of it. Why wouldn't he go out there week 15 in Miami, warm weather, and take a shot out of it? I had it. Look at this, Ashley. You know what? Say it for me, Ashley.
Oh my
He
God.
is what?
This video is
what?
crazy though. This
Say it,
video.
Ashley.
He is what?
The. Come on, Ashley. What do I always say about Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, the greatest thrower of the football we've ever seen.
Look at that tight power. It's so easy for a wide receiver. Oh my God, I can just feel it. I can feel it just landing in my hands right now. Like, ooh, the baby. Hey, my 4-year-old son, my kids, they know. It's like, you don't drop the baby. You drop a football in my house, you got to do push-ups. Everybody. Nannies, chef, anybody, landscaping crew. You drop the football, you got to do push-ups. You can't drop the baby. Look at this throw. How do you drop this if you're a receiver? Actually, it's like catching a loaf of bread. Look at this. And you telling me this dude is not going to play? Even if they're out of the playoffs? Look at this. Y'all out y'all mind if y'all think Aaron Rodgers ain't going to play again this year. So beautiful.
I mean, would you even want him to? Let's ask that question. Would you even want him to?
Who am I? Give me the scenario.
No, but granted, like, yes, it's a miracle, a modern miracle. And I said this yesterday, that if this surgery, proves to be sufficient in how it heals the Achilles and Achilles injuries all around, because again, we don't know, we haven't seen him practice, we haven't seen him play. There's still healing time there's still a healing period here, right? So while it's a miracle that he's up and moving around within 79 days at his age with an Achilles injury, you also don't know how severe the injury was. You also don't know where in his rehab he actually is. So while I said that's why I said yesterday, if this proves to work, this may become the new standard. But again, this is if. We don't know how successful this surgery has been until you know. Do you want to take that gamble for a season that in the AFC right now is pretty much a wash? Do you want to go ahead and test this Achilles, wherever it is in the rehab process, on this innovative surgery unnecessarily? Do you want to take that risk if you're the Jets?
So the scenario is if I'm the Jets.
If you're the Jets.
Who as a Jet? Am I the wide receiver?
No. You're not a player. Your front office, your coaching staff, Woody Johnson, do you want to take that risk with your investment on a surgery that's innovative but unproven so far?
But you got to be specific. Am I Woody? Am I Douglas, the general manager? Am I the coach? It's different answers. Tell me.
If you're okay, let it go. I'll fire him off. You're Woody Johnson, yes or no?
Woody Johnson? Hell yeah. Really? It's like you got to think, I'm a billionaire. Billionaires got all these toys, and I'm not calling human beings toys, but just stay with me here. You got all these toys. I just invested how many millions of dollars into this new thing? Forget the private plane. I'm over that. The Lamborghini, what? We ain't even buying cars no more. I got Aaron Rodgers, the greatest thrower of the football. Yes, even if it's for 2 games. I want to see it. Absolutely. I want to see it. I've been in a locker room with Woody and his brothers when we out of the playoffs. That last year, shit, it was so terrible. And they come in the locker room, even Christopher Johnson, his brother, they come in the locker room, we out of it, and you can see it on their face. They're pissed off. This is week 14, 15. My cars are already in Florida. The plans, the vacation's already set. The bags are already packed. I'm ready to get out of Teterboro. It's over. But they still came in with this competitive edge and this fire. We lose, and it's like, Urgh. So I say all that to say, it doesn't matter if they're in it or not. They still want to win. So if I'm Woody Johnson, Christopher Johnson, I am saying go and go fast. Yes.
If you're his teammates, is it fair for him to even come back or not come back, rather, after all this hype? Seeing him on the field, seeing him sidelines at the games, the hype reels, the appearances on Pat McAfee, everything that has, led up to this situation. Is it fair to his teammates if he says, yeah, I changed my mind, I'm not going to do it?
You got to be specific, Ashley. What teammate?
His whole
Am I the corner?
teammates,
No.
everyone on the
Different
team.
mindset. Am I the receiver?
You're the
Am I
offense. You're the receivers. You're the tight ends. You're the offensive line. Well,
if I'm a wide receiver, I'm saying, hell yeah, let's go. Let's go. We going. If I'm an offensive line, they're more rational. Offensive linemen more rational, actually gonna say, they're weirdos. Like they're the coolest people. That's who I love hanging with. But they're like, they're thinking like you. Next year, what are we doing? We're out of it. That's how they're talking to, Ashley. We're out of it. Come on, just next year, okay? You know what I'm saying? If I'm the running back, it's like they just cool. It's like, man, I don't care. Whatever, man. Like, who cares? So wide receiver, me, let's go, baby. Let's go. Yes, I want Aaron Rodgers back.
Listen, we will see. Like I said yesterday, the opening of the practice window for Aaron Rodgers does not clear him for return. It just clears him to return to practice. There's still a lot of steps within his rehab that the Jets have to feel comfortable with in order for even those conversations to even happen, seriously at least. And also, it's also, like I said, dependent on where the Jets are record-wise as Aaron Rodgers continues to develop in his rehab. So this will be something that I'm sure everybody is going to be keeping their eyes on, and we will be continuing our Aaron Rodgers watch. We're going to switch gears. We'll stay in the AFC, though. And we're approaching the stretch run, down the stretch, in the clutch, if you want to call it, of the NFL season. So we're going to run through a bunch of the teams that are currently on the NFL bubble when it comes to the playoffs. And Brandon and I are going to predict if they will get in or if they're going to be 1, 2, 3 Cancun. All right, so we're going to start with Buffalo. Right now, they're 6-6, 10th in the AFC. Will they make or miss the playoffs, Brandon?
Damn, Ashley. 7 teams can make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say they miss.
Ooh. By a lot or just by a game?
It'll go down to the last game. The last game is going to be important, right? It'll be one of those scenarios where it's like tiebreaker, win in, but this team got to lose. This team got to win. Yeah, I think they miss it. They miss it, and it's sad. The window has closed.
I'm actually in agreement with you. I don't think that they make it, and I think that will be the catalyst to make some changes in Buffalo.
Is the window closed in Buffalo?
I don't think the window is closed when you have Josh Allen, but I think the window is closed for the tandem that is Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I think that window is officially closed.
Yeah, can I retract what I just said?
Sure.
I'm feeling too spicy today. Yeah, because I agree with you there. The window is not closed in Buffalo. They just gotta, their front office just got to do an amazing job of just like bringing in the right people, like the right guys around Josh. It's not closed.
Follow-up question. What will the narrative be about Josh Allen if the Bills were to miss the playoffs? Right now, the narrative seems to teeter back and forth depending on the week, but I feel like the general consensus of Josh Allen right now is great quarterback, but just can't win the big games. Does that change or worsen if the Bills don't make the playoffs? Is that then a real conversation that we can be having about Josh Allen? It's a fair question considering what we have seen from him sometimes, a lot of the times, not only in close games, overtimes, and big games.
I think it's going to be, the narrative's going to be, hey, if he doesn't get this right next year, he's a great quarterback that can't win big games. He's inconsistent. So I feel like he's going to be on the hot seat, super hot seat, and he's going to be on notice. And it's going to be a long offseason for him. It will be if he doesn't get this done. So, Ashley, did you go through?
So you think that narrative will strengthen?
Yes, I think it will strengthen.
All right. So let's switch.
Ashley, did you see their schedule? Sorry, I know we're supposed
No. Go ahead. Run through their schedule.
The Chiefs.
Yikes.
The Chiefs.
Okay.
The Cowboys.
Yikes.
The Chargers.
Brandon
the
Staley's
Patriots,
there, so.
the Patriots, and then
That's
the
a
Dolphins.
win. Well, they've lost to the Patriots this season.
Yeah,
So,
and then and the Dolphins. But the
ooh.
Dolphins, like what's going to happen? That's January 7th, last game of the season. If the Dolphins are
Yeah, yeah,
in or
yeah.
sitting there, guys, like you don't
For
know.
sure.
But the Dolphins could potentially be still going full speed ahead because, they may be playing for home field advantage, right? Positioning, post, right? So it could be
Maybe.
interesting.
I feel, though, that the fate of the Bills will be decided way before that game.
I don't know, Ash. I think it's going to go down in the.
No.
I could see the Dolphins. I could see the Dolphins still playing hard because they may be fighting for the 1 seed.
I
maybe.
think no, I'm saying the fate of the
But
Bills will be decided before that game. They'll
yeah,
know
but like
whether or not they're in the playoffs come that game. I think after the Cowboys game, you'll know if this team is going to make the playoffs. And in my opinion, they will not.
so basically, what we're saying is right because this is a tough one. Well, we'll keep it moving because we can talk about each one for 20, 30 minutes. I'll keep it moving.
All right, we're going to go to your hometown of Pittsburgh. The Steelers figuring out a way to win in spite of every single obstacle that it seems is thrown their way. Fifth in the AFC right now, 7-4 record. Like I said, they've been winning despite a less than impressive offense. Kenny Pickett, that offense, Coach Mike Tomlin, they're figuring it out. It's not always pretty, but it gets the job done. Will they make or miss the playoffs?
Oh, they're going to make the playoffs.
I agree.
Yeah, this is an easy one. And then also, Ashley, listen, the scoreboard didn't tell the story. Only 16 points last week, but, almost 400 yards of offense. They haven't done that in how many years? Was it 400 yards of offense? So maybe they figured it out. Pittsburgh Steelers get in, and they're a scary team. Like, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go win the Super Bowl. I don't think that. But if you are the Kansas City Chiefs, if you are, the Jaguars, like, do you really want to play Pittsburgh?
No, because again, they're a wild card.
Right.
You think you know what to expect with them, and like I said, they figure out ways to win games that they probably shouldn't even be in. So, you never want to face a team like that. A wild card team's always kind of a team that is a pain in the ass to play, as you know, because you never know which version of them you're going to get. If you play a bad team, yes, every bad team has a good game, but you kind of know 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a bad football team. When you play a great football team, yes, everyone has a bad game, but 9 times out of 10, you're playing a great football team. When you play a team that's not great, but not bad, but still figuring out a way to win in spite of that, you never know what's going to be thrown at you those 4 quarters, and that's the most frustrating part about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I know, but it's let's see. Let's watch the next couple of weeks. Let's watch this offense the next couple of weeks, and we'll see. Because we know what we're going to get from the defensive side. We know that. Okay, we know what we're going to get from coaching. But Ashley, if this offense could become consistent, could be a problem.
It could become consistent at just the perfect time too. So
right, yeah, right.
We've seen that story with the Steelers before. We're going to move on to a team that I know you were all in on. Sitting at 9th in the AFC, 6-5, it's the Denver Broncos. Now, right now, they are the hottest team, one of the hottest teams in the NFL with 5 straight wins. And Russell Wilson looks like he's cooking a little bit. He may not be fully cooking in the kitchen, but he got a little bit of a wrist action with the pot and pans going. So, Brandon, make or miss the playoffs? I don't even know why I'm asking you.
Yeah. The Denver Broncos get into the playoffs, and the 2 hottest teams going into the postseason probably be the Denver Broncos and the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be interesting. Let me pull up their schedule right now. Did you go through that? So they got the Texans in Houston. I know they win that. Well, I think they win that. I know this stuff. They'll win that. The Chargers, they'll win. The Lions, UMB flows seem to be high on the Lions, super high. They win that for me. They beat the Patriots. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Raiders. Hell, the Denver Broncos may be sitting Russell Wilson in Vegas. on January 7th. But they can go in on a 11 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 game win streak. Now y'all call me crazy. Y'all called me crazy when they were sitting at 2 and something. And then everybody's saying trade this person, Sean Payton's terrible, da. I stood on the table and I said, let's ride.
You did say that. You did ride on the table. That's for sure.
So now, please, what is the chat saying, Ashley? Are they calling me crazy right now by saying the Denver Broncos could potentially go?
Someone said the Broncos are making the playoffs, but it's a long shot. Someone says they're not making the playoffs unless Brandon Marshall's suiting up. The Broncos will be interesting. I believe that they will fight for a playoff spot. So I feel like Brandon. Somebody said, Brandon, they're not beating Houston and Detroit. No way. But it looks like you're converting some people to the Brandon Broncos bandwagon.
I love that. Can we do this, Omari? Can we capture Brian? Can we capture those comments? Capture those comments. Take a screenshot of them. And then when they beat these teams and they when they run into the playoffs on fire, 11 game win streak, or maybe 10-1 down the stretch, I just want a post to go do, and then you see my comment. They will do this.
All right, so let's switch gears to a team that the Broncos are going to have to face, and that's the Texans. They're a hot team with an even hotter quarterback in C.J. Stroud. Not only is he a quarterback that probably is winning Rookie of the Year, he may be doing just enough to win the MVP. That's a conversation people are having. But right now, 8th in the AFC, 6-5. Do you think that the Texans and QB C.J. Stroud will make the impossible possible and get into the playoffs?
All right, just give me 20 seconds here. Miami
Clock is yours.
Ravens, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4. No.
Okay.
No.
Why?
This is a tough one for me.
So you have more faith in the Broncos than you do in the Texans in the way that they're playing?
Yes. And we'll see it. We'll see it Sunday, right? 12 o'clock CBS. We'll see it. 1 o'clock CBS. We'll see it. Right? So they have the Broncos. They have the Jets. They have the Titans. They have the Browns. They have the Titans again. They have the Colts. Very, what is it called? Attractive schedule.
They do. Winnable schedule.
Yeah, but you got to look at only seven can get to the dance or got the invitation, can get to the party, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about that. Look at the AFC South, the North, the East. Like, it's tough. They're going to be a team. Unfortunately, he's not going to get in. Because I just think, and I look at it, right, because of the Broncos, you would say the schedule's a little tougher, but I just think that they're going, like, there's a lot of juju around them right now. So I believe more in the Broncos than I do the Texans. But I wouldn't be surprised, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the conversation, that last week, that first week in January. Wouldn't be surprised at all, Ashley. What do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised either. I do think, though, that inexperience may get the best of them when it comes down the stretch. And for that reason, I think that, as you get closer and closer to the playoffs, I feel like teams that are more prime and ready for the playoffs start separating themselves from the pack. And I think that although the Texans are playing great football and then they're playing good football and they're winning in ways that are just astronomical to, considering this is a team that a lot of people thought were just going to completely tank once again, not on purpose, just by lack of roster. I don't know if that's enough to really push ahead of the teams that I feel like are ready for the playoffs. So I think they'll get close. They'll make it interesting. They're definitely a team that if you are trying to get into the playoffs, if you're the Denver Broncos or any of those other teams, you definitely don't want to play these guys because just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, 6-5, but they're a wild card. And you never know what version of this young, scrappy team you're going to get. And C.J. Stroud just playing absolutely incredible football. Head coach Ryan absolutely just taking these guys under his wing. So you definitely don't want them on your schedule down the stretch. I'll say that much.
Now, let me ask you a follow-up question here. So if they get into the playoffs, right? So that means they win 10 games at least? Is it 10 or 10 games?
It could be 10. It could be, remember, their division's a little weak, so it could even be 9.
No, they can't do that because you got Jacksonville.
Oh, right. I forgot Jacksonville's leading the, 10.
That's right.
Yeah.
So 10 to get in because they'll go in wild card, right? But maybe, I don't know. Can C.J. Stroud really be the MVP? Because statistically, nobody's playing better at the quarterback position. Now he just threw some picks. The last 2 games, he turned the ball over a little bit. But this dude, top 3 in everything almost. And now you get your team into the playoffs and you go on a run? That's a real conversation for C.J. Stroud. Rookie of the year, MVP of the league. Has that ever
Do you think, though, it's realistic?
Say that again?
Do you think, though, it's realistic, as incredible as he's been playing, sitting at 6-5, you're not winning your division, you're not leading your division. How many times have you seen an MVP not come from a winning football team in terms of division, playoffs, etc.?
But you're in the playoffs, though.
But you weren't being a wild card and leading your division into the play is different. You know what I mean? You usually never see a wild card quarterback, although playing exceptional, win the MVP award. It's usually geared towards guys who've been doing it, who's not only been doing it all season, but their team reflects that in the terms of the standings. I think that's going to be one knock against him from winning that, certainly in the conversation, but I just don't think if he doesn't win the division, it's been a long time since we've seen that happen.
Yeah, you know how long? You got to go back to 1957.
That's a long time. See that?
Did it in 1957. Played running back.
Jim Brown.
Oh, Ashley Nicole. Well, Ashley, the story could be bigger. Because you're right, but the story could potentially be bigger, where it's like the Texans are at the bottom of the barrel. The Texans, if you put them in the SEC last year, they probably wouldn't have broke 500.
True.
So now,
True.
Right. Okay. So now you draft this kid, you bring in this new coach, and you're in the playoffs, and you have a hot hand. Yeah, I think the story could be so big that they're like, you know what? We know you ain't winning division. We're going to show you some love.
It'd be interesting. Like you said, 1957, that's a long time. So, only time will tell. But before we dive into the NFC, let's dive into this conversation. How much do you think a good college quarterback costs? Give me a number.
Well, I kind of cheated.
Well, okay. Well, before you cheated, what was your number?
300,000.
Well, you were off by a couple zeros there, pal. Listen, let's talk NIL because Nebraska head coach Matt Rule made some interesting comments yesterday when asked about what it takes to get a good college quarterback in the college football portal. Listen to this.
Make no mistake that a good quarterback in the portal costs $1 million to $1.5 million to $2 million right now. So just on the same page, right? So let's make sure we all understand what's happening. So there's some teams that have $6 or $7 million players playing for them. So
is that frustrating? The way where we're at now with the dollars involved.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's no. I would not let people be able to buy people off another roster. It's so simple. Like you think about you recruit somebody and you develop them for 2 years and then someone comes in and takes them and then that coach gets fired. It's like, well, he actually did a pretty good job. So
$6 to $7 million. I mean, Brandon, there are backup quarterbacks not making that much money in the NFL right now. That's a lot of cash for a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, 19-year-old kid. I mean, you have to, the game has changed, like from when you were in college. Like it's a different ball game.
Ashley, what are you talking about? I worked at McDonald's. No, I wasn't McDonald's. What the hell did I do? I was no, I worked at Ford dealership. Like I was begging for money.
You were
when I was
selling
in
cars
college.
or?
Huh?
You were selling cars?
No, I was washing them.
Oh.
I was washing them. And now they talk about $6 million. That's unbelievable, but I'm happy. I'm happy, Ashley, because this is I don't even know. I don't know, B, maybe you can fact check this, but it's definitely north of $2 billion industry, the NCAA.
Yeah, it's a lot of cash.
Like I those numbers might be extremely low. So, we've had this conversation for years. NIL, I think it was 2021, July of 2020 or 2021, where it was passed, where our youth athletes, our amateur athletes can now be compensated. But they're still playing the athletes, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing them because they're not rev sharing in the TV deals, right? Big Ten Network, SEC Network.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting anything from concessions. So all this is just like, it's a Band-Aid. That's it. On a huge wound that's still bleeding.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you this though, because a wise man once said, "More money, more problems." And I think that we see a lot of times in professional sports how difficult it is to come from nothing and then all of a sudden have everything. And that's grown men that we're referring to that get caught up in the sauce, lost in the sauce, if you will, right? When we're talking about millions and millions of dollars, we've seen careers get ruined from decision making that comes with having just a lot of money, a lot of access. We've seen it. We see it, I feel like, every single season in some way, shape, or form with more than a few players. And it goes back in the history books and it goes across a multitude of sports. So you now give that same kind of money to teenagers, essentially, young men who are just fresh out of high school, still figuring themselves out. Your brain's not even fully developed until you're 25. And now you have $6-7 million in your pocket, while you would hope that a lot of these universities and these programs are providing their guys with the resources. We heard Deion Sanders say after his guys unfortunately got robbed when they were playing UCLA, that was a failure on us. We didn't teach them about insurance. But as we know, not all coaches and programs treat their players and approach their players the same way, teaching them things like taxes and insurance and whatnot. So I say all of that to say, are you concerned by giving, in any shape or form, by giving young men so much money before they really understand the responsibility that comes with that money? Yes, there's exceptions to the rules, but not everybody has a support system to teach them right from wrong when it comes to having that responsibility, because that's a big responsibility.
The answer is no.
Okay,
they have
why?
Ashley Nicole Moss. Okay, they have Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, right? They have Brandon Marshall. They have Ian Matthew, All the Smoke. They have Bussin' with the Boys. No. What do we do as athletes? It's just as people, period. We admire those who came before us, right? LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Jaylen Brown, right? Like, think about what Jaylen Brown's doing off the court. Some of the conversations he started and having. He just retired, Adonis for the Golden State Warriors. Iggy, what's his name, Ashley?
Andre Iguodala.
Right. He just launched a $100 million fund. So I say all that to say this. They're watching the Ashley Nicole Mosses. They're watching the Matt Barnes. They're watching the Brandon Marshall. You just started the conversation. We wasn't supposed to go here. So they're hearing this stuff, and they're more curious. They're taking notes. Back in the day, we weren't having these conversations. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have these clips going viral on Instagram and TikTok. They didn't have LeBron James. Oh, LeBron James is still playing and he owns uninterrupted.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. I want to learn how to do that too.
But you're
So,
you're
yes, they're gonna
banking
make-
you're
they're-
banking on the fact that every young athlete is going to use the resources and the blueprints that are available. Because I agree with you. There's so much knowledge from former athletes, whether how to do it, how not to do it, because this is how I messed up, so don't do it this. Like, I agree with you. It's a plethora of knowledge that exists for young athletes now that didn't exist when you were a rookie and going through the league. And it gets better every single year. A complete agreement with you there. But you're also banking on the fact that every athlete, young athlete, is going to utilize those resources to make sure that they take their opportunities and maximize them and use and have a better outcome than the guys before them. But that's not always the case.
Yeah, but it's not always the case in different pockets. We're just talking sports right now.
Right.
And just like Bill Parcells told me when I was playing when he traded for me for the Miami Dolphins. So Bill Parcells, he flies me in from Denver, and we sat in this little hotel for about 2 days, and we just went back and forth. And I was thinking about going to Seattle, and we just started talking about everything. I asked him about real estate. I asked him about his portfolio. He opened up his portfolio, showed me all his millions of dollars. He'd be like, hey, I'm up $1 million. I'm down $1 million. Like, you always got to keep your hands steady. I won't give you the nickname that he used to call me.
Mm-hmm.
And so real estate was one of the conversations. And I was like, hey, you guys about to give me a big deal. There's this beautiful home down here that I love. It's $4.1 million. What's your thoughts there? And he said, no. And I said, dang, okay. And so then we make the deal. And I'm on the team. Months are going by, and every time he comes out in this golf cart, he, has a little nickname for me. Come over here. Sit in the golf court, roll around. Guys still practicing. We rolling around. He's like, hey, I'm up $1 million today. Then the next day, come out. I'm down $1 million today. You got to keep your hands steady. And he's like, what are you doing with that house? I said, I really want it. And I waited a couple months. I really want it. He said, you know what? Go get the house. He said, get the house because we always make the mistake once. Right? We all do it. You're new to money. I get it. But don't make no disasters. Make sure you can recover. Right? And so I went and got the house, $4.1 million. End up selling it for 4.3, but all the money I put into it, I really didn't win. I didn't even break even, right? Because ideally when you buy a house, you want it to appreciate to a point where you actually make money off of it. But when you start buying houses over $1 million, the amount of people that can afford that is very small. So it's hard to hit on those type of houses unless you're in a real interesting pocket as far as what's going on in the global economy or the national economy. And so I did it. I lost money on this crib, put a lot of money into the crib. I wouldn't say lost money, but it's like broke even pretty much. But I say all that to say, we all do it.
Mm-hmm.
We all do it, right? Some athletes will lose it all. They will. And then there will be some that, make mistakes, buy the jewelry, buy the houses, all that, because they're young. But nowadays, these guys are making $30, $40 million. This is the conversation that we just had. We just started here. Quarterbacks going for $5, $6 million in a portal, right? So they can recover, you know what I mean? Back in the day when you go and you spend $1 million like Antonio Cromartie, he came out, he spent $1 million before he got to the NFL just on jewelry. You can't recover from that when you're only making $8 million and you don't get to the second deal. Well, he did. He was able to recover. But now you go spend $1 million on jewelry, which is insane. But you making 30, it don't hurt as much.
Okay. Well, listen, the game is different and it's constantly evolving and changing. So I love it. Get your money, young kids. Get your money. Listen, we're going to switch.
Them, Ashley.
For sure. Definitely. We're going to switch gears and talk about a little bit of who you got. So there's a bunch of really dope quarterback matchups coming up week 13 of the NFL season. So we're going to go ahead and make our picks of which quarterback we're leaning towards. First up, we got a rematch of the NFC Championship game. Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts are going to be battling it out in Philadelphia. And you already know who I got. I'm going Brock Purdy because I need the 49ers to handle business for me. So, Brock Purdy, I'm rocking with you. Don't let me down. Do not let me down. Who you got?
That's your heart, but what does your head say?
Brock Purdy.
I'm going with Jalen Hurts. This team is special, Ashley. Like, we talked about the Dallas Cowboys earlier, and I said that they could potentially be the hottest team headed into postseason. I really believe in the Dallas Cowboys, and but Jalen Hurts is special. Eagles are special, and it's going to take the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to take the 49ers to have their absolute best game to beat them, right? Like, even this, like the 49ers, like Deebo Samuels, I'm telling you, you should have called Deebo Samuels and said, chill out.
I don't have that boy's number.
You hear, like, that's a real thing. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a real thing. Bulletin board material, right? That was, made famous by the Patriots. We don't give bulletin board material. Don't go out there and say these things. Like, when you go out and say that, man, it just gives the other team more juice. It's like when you tired, it's like, damn, I don't want to watch that, 30 more minutes of a film. Like, damn, but Deebo Samuel said.
I'm actually surprised, though, to hear you say Jalen Hurts, because yesterday you said that you give the offensive edge to the 49ers. So if that's your take there, wouldn't that include Brock Purdy?
Yeah, 100%. From a scheme standpoint, like we know the 49ers. We know Coach Shanahan. But I'm talking about Jalen Hurts. When I say special, I ain't even talking about football. I'm talking about his leadership ability. I'm talking about what he does in that locker room. There was a viral clip that went out. I think it was Graham. The whole game he said, oh, y'all don't know Jalen. He's the most clutch. He's the clutches. He's clutch. He's this. He's that. And it comes down to the game. He's like, Jalen this, Jalen that. And then, oh, Jalen takes off. He scores. Walk away, touchdown, whatever they call it, right? And it's like he runs up to him. He's like, bro, you're amazing. And guess how Jalen Hurts responded? He said, and walked off. Everybody else celebrating. Everybody else is in awe. He's just like, this is what we supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. This dude is different. Well, it's going to be cool. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be up there with the Ray Lewises of the world when it comes to leadership, right, in sports. I'm telling you, this kid is just different. He's 34-6 over the last 40 games he's played in football or something like that. What is their record? I seen some crazy stat out there.
It's pretty nuts, yeah.
What is it?
I don't know on top of my head, but I want to say like 27-4 or something crazy like that.
Did you see what I saw?
Yeah, something crazy like that. But I'm going to ask this question, and then BC, I want you to get nice and close to Brandon's face, as close as you can get, because he told me, what does your head say? I know you're going with your heart, but what does your head say? So, reverse it, flip it, and back to you. Russell Wilson or C.J. Stroud, the Broncos and the Texans are going to be battling it out this weekend on Sunday, 1 p.m. game on CBS. So, Russell or C.J.? Go.
C.J. statistically is going to have the better game. He's going to throw for more yards. Hell, might even throw for more touchdowns. But Russell Wilson and the Broncos get the win. Russell Wilson plays big on third down. Russell Wilson's going to have a magical 2-minute drive before the half and at the end of the game to put his team in position to win. Like, Russell Wilson's going to lead the Denver Broncos this Sunday in Houston, 1 o'clock game, I believe, on CBS. What we're going to be saying after this game is, like, this was such a dope game. It's going to be the game of the week.
Well, okay, so that's what your heart says. What does your head say?
My head says that it says the same thing. My head and my heart's connected. That's the problem sometimes.
Okay.
Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos are going to get it done. What are you talking about? I really believe this, but now it's coming from, I will say this, Ashley, now it's coming from a rational place. Before, it
was all emotion.
It was a lot of emotion. It was like, I always say this. I love the storylines in sports, right? I love being an underdog. I love when, the Dak Prescott story. It's so sweet when everybody got their foot on your throat and you down and you drowning, and then all of a sudden, You find a way to get up. And then it's like, damn, where did he come from? He don't miss. So I love those stories. So that's where I was before. And now it's more rational. It's like, no, this defense is a top 5 defense over the last 6 games. They're maybe the best defense they're the best defense in football over the last 6 games. That's a big deal, Ashley. And then the problem last year was that defense was the defense that we're now seeing, okay? Because they started off trash. They was 32 in the league. Okay, then Vance Joseph magically turned it around. The problem last year was they had this same defense, but Russell and Coach Hackett couldn't muster up 16 points. That's all they needed. There was a statistic out there that said if they scored 17 points, average 17 points a game, they would have won 11 ball games last year. So now they can do that. That's why I believe it. So that's my head.
All right. We'll see if
Are you with me? Are you with me? What did you answer this?
I'm
Come on, Ashley.
It's hard to bet against the hot hand.
Thank you.
But that goes for CJ as well. So I'm leaning towards the Texans, but not by much. And that may change come game time. Like I may switch it. I'm leaning not by much. Like it's like
why?
Games in Houston, CJ, the guys they're playing well, especially at home. I don't.
Here's the other thing too. I always enjoyed traveling. Less distractions when you travel.
This is true.
You routine. It's like this is not like the NBA.
It is Houston though.
Much freedom. But I'm gonna get there. That's the point. When you travel, the team is closer. When you home, you got family, you got friends. You go home, you this and that. You drop. No, get on the bus. No, we on the turn back to the plane. Soon we land, security, everybody on the bus again. You got 2-3 hours, do what you need. Boom, 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 11 o'clock curfew. We ready, let's roll, right? Home team, they all over the place, okay? And it's Houston. They're in Denver right now. I'm in Chicago right now. It's snow on the ground. Nobody, yeah, it's cool, but nobody really want to play in that. When you travel, your team is closer, and then you go to Houston, the weather is good. Oh, man, you're going to see them boys with so much juice. So the Broncos going to come with more juice than the home team.
Okay. We'll see.
What are you doing? What was this? What I saw you do it. What was that?
Making it rain. They're in Houston. You know what this is.
No. See, here's the thing, Ashley. In the NBA, there would have been a problem because them boys don't got no curfew. They do whatever they want. In the NFL.
You know there's ways around curfew, Brandon. Shut up.
Huh?
You know there's ways around curfew. Stop playing with me.
I'm telling you, yes, there's the Channing Crowders of the world, right? Like Channing Crowder was one of those guys. Like every other team has 1 or 2 guys that know how to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And but for the most part, I would say 98% of the guys, they don't figure it out. They want to, but they can't because Ashley, we have 3 or 4 floors, personnel, players only. Each floor, at the elevator, there's a gentleman or a lady sitting there, security, walkie-talkie. If you get on an elevator at 11:15, whoop whoop, coach, whoop whoop, GM. Even the exits, there's security there. You can't leave. It's like being in the Pentagon. It's unbelievable. You can't even, my wife and kids is downstairs. No, sit your ass in that room.
Okay. I didn't know that. I stand corrected. All right, let's fire off through these real quick. Jared Goff or Derek Carr? This is going to be the New Orleans Saints versus the Detroit Lions, who, despite some missteps and one being on Thanksgiving, playing really good football. Who you got? Jared Goff, Derek Carr?
I'm going to go with Jared Goff. I don't know what's going on in New Orleans. Jameis Winston is singing ludicrous to Derek Carr. Derek Carr seems to be in it, but not in it. The mojo, the energy's off with the Saints. I'm going to go with Jared Goff.
All right. Moving on. I got the same, Jared Goff. I'm going with the Lions.
Answers too.
Yeah, I think the Lions are going to beat the Saints with their eyes closed and one hand tied behind their back. No idea what's going on in New Orleans. This one's going to be interesting. As we said earlier in the show, the Pittsburgh Steelers are constantly finding ways to win football games. So this matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals is going to be interesting. James Conner is returning to Pittsburgh. So Kyler Murray or Kenny Pickett, who do you got?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Kyler Murray's going to have another phenomenal day and phenomenal play or 2 or 3. Like, this kid is unbelievable. But it's in Pittsburgh. I'm going with Pickett. It's another 400-yard outing, and they'll probably score 4 touchdowns. So it's going to be another magical day for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense.
All right. We shall see.
If it doesn't rain.
Let me see.
I don't know the weather report there, so that's dependent on rain. Or the weather, excuse me.
I think the Steelers will win, but this is a trick question to me because I don't feel like the Steelers are going to win because Kenny Pickett's going to have some like miraculous game. I think they're going to win because they are a gritty team that figures it out offensively. They do just enough. Defensively, keeps them in the games. The defense is the more reliable aspect of this team. The offense, not so much. So I'm not really, who do you have? Kenny Pickett, Kyler Murray? For me, it doesn't matter because the Steelers, I think, will win, but it's not because Kenny Pickett's going to, put on his cape and become Super Cam. It's not because of him. So it's kind of a trick question, but I'm going with the Steelers, but not because of Kenny Pickett, if that makes sense. So,
Okay.
All right, we're going to switch gears for a second, and we will dive back into some more football, but we are now going to discuss a serious topic going on in the NBA. So bear with me as I give you all the facts because I don't want to misspeak and, say something that is not actually going on. So there's a developing story in the NBA that involves Thunder guard, Oklahoma City Thunder guard Josh Giddey, who is currently under investigation after allegations arose that Giddey was involved in an inappropriate relationship with an underage girl. Now, in a since-deleted social media post by an anonymous social media account, the account said that the girl was photographed with Giddey. Those photos did circulate all over social media. Those photos have not been proven to be accurate, not accurate, real, fake. We don't know any of that information. But we are told and we are to believe that the girl in the photos was a high school junior at the time. Now, Giddey has declined to comment on the situation. The Oklahoma City Thunder said that they do not plan on suspending Giddey, that he will still be able to play, and that they are leading the investigation to the hands of the NBA. Now, there also was a report that came out yesterday via the Newport Beach Police Department. They spoke on the investigation and says that they have, quote, an active investigation into the allegations of an improper relationship between Thunder guard Josh Giddey and a minor girl. Police are actively seeking additional information. It has also been reported by a reputable newspaper in Oklahoma City that Giddey received 2 parking citations in Newport Beach and that is also currently being investigated. So, Brandon, I will give you the floor first, and then I will go ahead and speak on this. But again, a lot of allegations. Right. We don't know the validity of the social media user that released these photos. It was Josh Giddey in these photographs, so that we do know. We also need to point out that the girl in the photos and the family of that girl are not currently cooperating with authorities, so they also are not speaking. So the investigation is going on with whatever information is present at the time. So, Brandon, I will give you the floor, and then I will dive into it.
Which conversation are we having? Are we having a moral conversation, or are we having
just what is your reaction to the situation at hand?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is this we talking about we're having a moral conversation or a legal conversation, right? Because
Well, it's hard to have a legal conversation because as of right now, no charges have been filed. The accusations, while they're criminal, they have not turned into charges. Right now, they're just accusations. So I feel like in terms of this conversation, the only thing we can speak about it is from a morality standpoint.
Right. Well, okay. So, but just to be clear here, legally, right? Like depending on jurisdiction, the legal age for consent could be 16 to 18, right? And so, that's the legal conversation that you dive into. And like you said, Ashley, there needs to be more information. And obviously they're going through that process. And so you have to let that process happen. But then from a morality standpoint, it's like, we got to understand as men, it's like, you got to think with the right head sometimes. I hate to say it this way, but it's like, you're 21, you're young. It's like you said earlier. It's like when your brain isn't fully developed till 25. Like the decisions that I made when I was, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 could have cost me my life. Like we're talking about playing with fire, right? And I look back and I'm like, thank God that I'm still standing today. Thank God, something as simple as a DUI, drinking and driving, right? And it's just like in this situation, you're living out your dream. You have all the power, you have all the money. And it's like, and take him out of it. Just any man, any person in this situation. Like you got to think, you got to do better. It's tough, right? So Ashley, I want the process to play out. I need more information. How old? She's a junior. So how old was she?
It's believed
17?
that she was a junior in high school at the time. So that can range depending on, if she skipped grades or whatever, probably anywhere between 15 and 17.
And also too, like, that's why you got to go through the process too, because like there's been so many times where even myself or, friends, brothers, where it's like because we were having these conversations when we were in the league, right? Like you got to be able to say like, all right, let me see your, not how old are you? Because people lie. It's like, no, let me see your ID. Think about this as a young athlete, 2021. And if he knew she was in high school and she was under the age, whatever, that's a totally different conversation. But let's say he didn't know, right? At 21, you meet a beautiful young lady and you got to think about, you're out drinking, whatever, maybe drugs are involved, and you have to think, hey, let me ask her her age. And then you, not only that, because people lie, can I see your ID? And that's the pressure on these young men and women. So.
I will say this. There's multiple layers to this conversation because of what has unfolded on social media in the past few days. So I'm going to do my best to address all of them. For starters, Josh Giddey should not be seeing an NBA court in any capacity, whether it's a practice court, whether it's a practice facility, certainly not an NBA court, until the due diligence on this investigation is complete. We have seen his peers, for a multitude of different reasons, being asked to be removed from the game by the league, being asked to not enter the practice facility, not being allowed to travel with the team, not being allowed to play in games, while investigations with whatever it is that they are currently dealing with or being investigated for are underway. And the fact that that same standard is not being applied to Josh Giddey raises a lot of eyebrows, as it should. I feel like a lot of the times, there are biases that people may be unaware of. And as Black people, we are fully aware of the fact that there is a different set of rules for us than there is for everybody else. And sometimes people will try to make it seem like that's all in our heads and that doesn't actually exist. But then situations like this come across and you look at it and you say, well, They do. It does exist. It's not a figure. It's not a figure of our imagination. It is our very real reality. We've seen players like Kyrie Irving suspended from the game. We've seen John Morant being suspended from the game during an investigation. We've seen it happen for Deshaun Watson. We've seen it happen for Ime Udoka. And this is not for me to argue whether or not Josh Giddey is innocent, if he's guilty. I am not a cop. I am not an investigator. That is not what I'm doing. But I am bringing attention to the fact that we have not only removed players from their jobs with less information or just the same amount as information before, and now all of a sudden the standard has changed. And that is why there are many athletes, particularly Black athletes, that are offended, and Black fans of sports in general that are offended by the fact that Josh Giddey is still being allowed to play. Now, with that said, I know that there are emotions high and people have opinions and everyone has an opinion and we don't always agree with those opinions. I do not condone the disrespect of anybody in the media, but specifically not another Black woman, because I do know the cards are constantly stacked against us, not once, but twice. And while I understand that the biases of the media sometimes show themselves more than others, there's a respectful way to have those conversations and to air those grievances. And I feel like that should always be honored. So I don't condone the dismantling and the attack on anybody's character, but especially not another woman of color, particularly a Black woman. With that said, I understand the frustration that Black people, and I'm going to say Black men, particularly because we're talking about the NBA, may feel looking at the situation. We have had conversations in the media about a plethora of different athletes, like I said, with just the same amount or less information than we have on this Josh Giddey situation. But for some reason, it took a lot of time for this to even be discussed. And I understand we don't have all the facts and we can't speak in facts because we don't have them. But we can speak on the fact that this man, this young man, should not be playing until that investigation is complete. And he should be held to the same standard that his peers, specifically his Black peers, are held to when it comes to investigations that infringe on the code of conduct for the leagues in which they play. So it is frustrating that it's not the case in this situation because he's not being accused of bootlegging DVDs. He's not being accused of something so trivial that you can say it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, technically it's a crime, but it's not that serious. What he's being accused of is criminal. What he's being accused of is predatory. And again, not arguing whether it's factual, whether it's inaccurate, not arguing what's true, what's not, if there's truth somewhere in the middle. The point of the matter is these accusations are serious, and I feel like there's enough accusations and there's enough of an investigation being there's enough an investigation unfolding from multiple entities. We're talking the Newport Beach Police now, the NBA, that he should not be seeing a court until the due diligence is done. And the fact that that is not the standard that he's being held to is problematic, and it's a failure on the league.
So what I hear you saying, Ashley, is he needs to be off the court because of the double standard.
No, he needs to be off the court because he's accused of something, and while there's an active investigation going on, until he is proven innocent or not, he needs to remain away from the game of basketball, just like we have seen his peers being removed from the game and also other athletes being removed from the game. If this was the NFL, he'd be placed on the commissioner's exempt list. And we've seen that happen with less information.
Yeah, but that's where I see it differently. I think that you have to let the process play out. There's been so many times we've seen young men and young women, and majority of these conversations are around, young men go through the process, and be torn down and be beaten to a place where they can't even recover and they're innocent. And so we have to, I feel like you have to let the process play out.
Of course, but he doesn't
You know?
need to play in the process while that's unfolding. This is an active investigation from now the Newport Beach police as well. If this were another player or another league, he would not be playing, and he shouldn't be playing. This is not to say he's guilty or innocent, but the truth of the matter is that you play for a league where there is a code of conduct, and you're in breach of that code of conduct. Whether you are innocent or guilty, there's an investigation based on your actions. Now, if those actions prove to be innocent and there was no crime committed, okay, fine. But you should be removed from the sport until that investigation clears you or it doesn't.
Yeah, but league, other players, excuse me, league or other players doesn't make it right. People are people. Let the process play out. Now, I'm not saying he's innocent. What I'm saying is we've seen this play out in the NFL where they try to be judge and jury and they get slapped in the face. It's like, no, let the process play out, and then at the end of it, let's make the decision. But we've seen this so many times where our leagues have tried to play judge and jury. Even us as fans. Oh, you're guilty. You're guilty. And then you go through Sean Oakman, and this is different conversation than Giddey. Sean Oakman is about to be a first round draft pick out of Baylor. 6'6", 270 pounds, a monster. 3 weeks before the draft, he goes home to Texas, goes to a party. Everybody's drunk. Girl accused of him rape. Didn't get drafted. Takes 4 years to go through the process. Innocent. Right? Like, he suffered. She didn't suffer. Right? And so what I'm not saying is I'm not trying to bash any victim. I'm not doing that. But we have to go. I feel, Ashley, it's unfair that we don't allow the process to play out before we go, punish somebody.
I'm not saying to punish him. I'm saying to hold him to the same standard that the NBA has always proclaimed that they stand on. What I'm saying, I'm not saying not to pay him. I'm not saying, to strip him.
Not playing. That's his job.
What I'm saying, but those are the cards that are dealt. This is not just a Twitter accusation. If that were the case, we would be having a different conversation. But it's enough of an accusation that the NBA and the Newport Beach police are investigating it. The fact of the matter is it's a stain on the NBA to have a player actively playing while there is an investigation from now 2 entities, the NBA and the Newport Beach police, while he is being accused of something predatory. Now, if it proves out to be not true, and somewhere in their investigation they come across that, fine, share those findings with the public and let him return to the court. But right now, you allowing him to play in this state of limbo when we have seen players like Kyrie Irving being suspended from the game for tweeting out an anti-Semitic Amazon link. This is a criminal offense that he's accused of. This is not tweeting out, and I'm not downplaying anti-Semitism at all. But that we're talking about a criminal accusation that he's being allowed to play through.
Earlier, is it because I asked her, I said, do you feel like he should sit out because of the double standard? Now, if you said that, then I'm rocking with you. I'm like, okay.
Yes, I don't want to call it a double standard. It is a double standard, but I'm saying more so the standard in which the NBA has always moved. And he's not being held to that same standard.
But I'm challenging that, like, legal system, criminal justice system, NFL, NBA. It's like, even us as people, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta chill. We gotta let the process play out. Even us, you started, talking about us as black people. Mm-hmm. Like, how many times have we been guilty just for the color of our skin? It's like, no, we gotta stop. Like, We got to let the process play out. So I hear what you're saying, Ashley, because the NBA, the NFL, they put these code of conducts in place. They put these processes in place, but it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right because we've seen so many times as black men, as black people, as athletes, as just regular people, where you're guilty, and then your life is completely turned upside down. Your character's assassinated, and you never recover from it. And that's why I gave like just one of many
Brandon, but
examples of like Sean Oakman.
we've seen Ime Udoka suspended from his coaching responsibilities for having an extramarital affair. That's not a criminal offense. That's not a criminal accusation. People cheat every day. He got caught up with somebody at work. Was it wrong? Yes. We've seen him suspended and then ultimately lose his job for having an extramarital affair. And you have this 21-year-old basketball player being accused of something criminal and is not only allowed to travel with the team, but he's able to play and to practice as if it's a regular day and there's nothing going on. That, by definition, is a double standard, and the NBA is completely mishandling this situation.
See, that's where I'm with you there. So that's where we see eye to eye is on the double standard for sure. You know, and I know there's a lot of people talking about it. They're even getting after what's her name, Malika Andrews on ESPN, for
Which
how
I don't condone.
Yeah, I don't condone that either. But like, there's a lot of people talking about it. I'm with you there. I'm so with you there on a double standard. And so now there's another conversation that needs to start. This is an opportunity to hold our leagues accountable for this bullshit. I agree with you there, 100%.
Well, listen, we will keep our eyes open on this situation. As I said, he is currently being investigated by the NBA and the Newport Beach Police. As I also said, the Oklahoma City Thunder have no plans of suspending Josh Giddey as of yet. They are leaving the decision and the investigation in the hands of the league. Also, no word from Adam Silver yet on the matter. So we will go ahead and, keep our eyes on that. Back to football. We're going to talk the NFC now. We were talking about teams currently on the bubble and if they will make the playoffs when it's all said and done. So we're going to start with the Green Bay Packers. Right now, 5-6, 8th in the NFC. Will they make or miss the playoffs, Brandon?
Jeez. All right, let me pull this up. They're going to miss the playoffs, Ashley.
I agree.
We don't have to spend too much time here. Hold on. Ashley, can you pull up the schedule really quickly? That's what I was trying to do.
Okay, Green Bay Packers schedule. Here we go. We have them coming up on the Chiefs at Packers on December 3rd. That's this coming Sunday. So that's going to be a little bit of a tough one. Packers Giants, maybe winnable. The Giants are just not really cooking. Buccaneers, Packers following that. Packers, Panthers following that on Christmas Eve. Packers, Vikings on December 31st, a New Year's Eve game. That's interesting. And then we have Bears at Packers January 7th, and that time is to be decided.
All right, so, Ashley, I'm in Chicago right now, obviously, for the I Am Iconic tour, and talking to a lot of Bears fans and, ironically, a lot of Packers fans. And they're asking us about Justin Fields. There's a lot of conversation there. And there was like two conversations we dove into where they were like, unfortunately, feel like the Green Bay Packers found their quarterback. Right? You look at him the last couple of weeks, Jordan Love, right? And there's something about peaking too soon or peaking at the right time. I'm a retract my answer.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that I can't even give you an answer, a real answer, and I know this sucks, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the playoffs because this is a team that can be remember we always talk about that, who's that Detroit Lion team? Who's that Jacksonville Jaguar team from last year, the 2005 Pittsburgh Steelers? I'm not saying the Pittsburgh Steelers went on to win the Super Bowl. Like, they could turn it on, Ashley. I could see them potentially just losing against the Chiefs. Maybe not. We will see.
I think they miss it. I'm sticking with they miss it.
I know we're supposed to be quick here.
It's a little bit too late for Green Bay.
But Ashley, think about it. You got Philly, the Dallas Cowboys. That's two. The Detroit Lions.
Uh-huh.
Minnesota Vikings can go the opposite way, and now you got Green Bay moving up. So they're both sitting at Minnesota 6-6, Green Bay at 5-6. Atlanta wins their division or the Saints. San Francisco, Seattle. So that's 6.
Maybe
Who?
they can creep in there. They could creep in there.
You know
The
what I'm
NFC is a
saying?
little bit lopsided, top heavy. They could creep in there.
I'm gonna say, and this is just straight like, this is gambling. I'm gonna say yes.
All right. Let's move on. Let's rapid fire these here. We got the Rams at 5-6, 9th in the AFC. We forgot about in the NFC. I'm sorry. We forgot about the Rams. Do you think that LA has a chance to make the playoffs or not? You always have Aaron Donald in that defense. You can never count those guys out.
They do, right? Like they're starting to turn it around a little bit. They have an opportunity. It could come down to the Green Bay Packers or the Rams. So I absolutely see them having a chance here. If you look at their schedule, they have the Browns, the Ravens, the Commanders, the Saints, the Giants. No, they're not gonna make it. Actually, they're not gonna make it. They're not gonna make it. They're not gonna make it.
So more faith in Green Bay than you have in the Rams.
Yeah, they're not gonna make it.
Okay.
What? Yeah, no,
Okay.
they're not gonna make it.
Well, another team that is in the conversation right now, sitting at 500, 7th in the NFC. They got Josh Dobbs, and he had 2 amazing weeks. One not so good one, and head coach McConnell says he may or may not be the starting quarterback. He won't say, which is a little odd, but do they have a chance to make the playoffs? They took that loss, an ugly loss against the Bears on Monday night, but it wasn't a dramatic one. I mean, it was dramatic, but it wasn't a drastic one. Came down to a field goal. Josh Dobbs did have that clutch touchdown in the fourth quarter. Do you think that the magic of Josh Dobbs can take them into the playoffs?
Ashley, yes.
Ooh, why?
Justin Jefferson comes back now.
He is cleared to come back. He was cleared right after that
practice?
Browns game.
Did he practice? If he plays,
Go ahead and look. Keep talking.
They got the Raiders, okay, this week in Vegas. Don't go to the win. Don't go to the Rhino, guys. Don't do none of that. Stay focused. This could be one for y'all, okay? You got the Bengals. Bengals are struggling. No Burrow. The Lions, again, the Lions. So the Lions, the Packers.
Report is Justin Jefferson has been activated from IR, and he will play after the Vikings bye this week.
He's playing.
Yes, he will play after the Vikings bye.
So I'm going to say yes, but that could rearrange. It can rearrange because we still got time, like the Green Bay Packer situation. Justin Jefferson with Dobbs. I like it.
All right. Last one. The Saints down in NOLA. 5-6, 10th in the NFC. But you know what? It is a soft division, so anything is possible. But what do you think about the Saints' chance of making it into the postseason?
I'm going to do this. It's such a whack division.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's like, because you also got Tampa, the Bucks, 4-7. Excuse me, what's your name, sir? I'm in Barstool Studio, right? And they're helping me out a little bit. Doug. They can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Doug, you should have
Hi,
joined the
Doug.
conversation a long time ago.
I'm here. Doug's here.
You say hello to Ashley Nicole.
Hi.
Hey, Ashley, what's going on?
What's up?
They can't see your video, huh?
No, it's only on you.
Oh, you
They got my mic.
Yeah, we can hear him loud and clear, though.
All right, this is how we're gonna do it, Ashley. I think you'll love it and you'll rock with this. Pick a number, 1 to 5. The number you pick will determine the team that's going to make it to the playoffs out of the NFC West.
I'm going with 4.
No, sorry, NFC South. No, not you, Ashley.
Oh.
Brian.
Okay.
Brian. Doug. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Doug.
You're good.
You told me that
Brian's
before the
good
show.
too.
Doug. Okay, Doug. Doug, pick a number 1 through 5.
I'll rock with 4. I like 4.
4, Tampa Bay Bucks.
I can see that. I can see that.
It's like you just close your eyes and pick one. Like
Yeah.
the Falcons.
Any, mini, mighty, mo.
Right. Really quick, Doug.
It's not the Panthers.
You're at here. You work for Barstool, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I know you're not like the tech team,
Right, correct.
but do you watch sports?
yeah.
All right. Well, can you help Ashley and I out with the NFC South? Like, who would you pick? Right. Like, what's going on there?
It's tough. I would say
Falcons, but it's really a toss-up. I mean, that's just kind of me watching from afar, but it could be one of the worst playoff teams we've seen in a long time. And I think anyone because that team would play probably the Cowboys, right, in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just going to be a blowout. So I would say Falcons.
Falcons. The team that we actually picked, because you said 4, and the way I looked at it, I was like, all right, you got the Falcons at 1, the Saints at 2, the Tampa Bay Bucks at 3, and then you have the Panthers at 4. You pick 4. I was like, all right, the closest thing to 4 is 3. So that's how I got the Tampa. If you look at Tampa's schedule, Ashley, they have the Panthers, they have the Falcons, the Packers, the Jags, the Saints, and then the Panthers again. So they could be in position.
We'll see. We
shall see. Listen, Brian, can I get a time check? How much time left we got on the clock here? Do I got a 2-minute drill this? What's going on? We got a few minutes left in the show, I believe. I could be wrong. Waiting on that time check. Listen, my Dallas Cowboys play tonight. Oh, we got a wrap show. Brandon, quick prediction. Thursday Night Football. Cowboys or Seahawks? Go.
Cowboys.
Me
Cowboys.
Too. Let's go. MVP. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Here we go. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week. Here we go.